Hello everyone and welcome to our latest video regarding the use of CATIA software. We hope that you are going through our previous videos because once again these are the basics that we will have to learn and they will form up the pillar stone to our future videos as well. Do keep in touch, practice all the commands that we are learning in different videos that have been showcased previously, and so we can move on to our next videos, next set of tools that we will be using. So as usual, going through our usual setup, that is start mechanical design and then in part design. The by default name will now appear, so we will just simply name it as number 1 as I usually do. Again, you can name it whatever you want depending upon the type of element we have. Then we will directly start off by opening plain YZ by using the sketcher commands, where we have two options. I urge to use the second one. You can simply use the first one as well. So there it is. I will click on OK. So as we have learned the use of profile, rectangles, parallelograms, circles, arcs, etc., today we are going to learn which are the different types of other commands that could be used to create a 2D drawing. So our next tool is the spline. For creating a spline is actually a series of curves. You simply have to click on number of points, that is, this is the first point, the second, the third, and now this is the fourth point. You can actually create a spline using 2 points as well. I will just simply click back on the spline, or I can simply press the escape button, and pressing the escape button twice will see us creating a spline. Spline is an important command as well while we will be creating various geometries, especially when we will be creating patterns for casting purpose. Splines are really important as well. Once we get in the future videos as well, we will see the use of spline. We have a different use of spline as well. We can also implement different theories as well, as we can see. Our next command, as I spoke, was the connect. Now to connect, using the connect command, we already need to have two curves, that is a line or a spline or a circle, which are incomplete, which will be actually completed by using the connect. So I will first of all draw a line. I can draw just any line here, and then I can draw a spline. I will use the first option, and then I will just simply use the first. Okay, this is a spline, and here I will click back on spline. So now these are two curves. These two curves can actually be connected by using the connect spline option. Here it is. We just simply have to click on the 2 points which are actually left open. So here it is, point number 1 and point number 2, and a spline will be created by default by the software. If I simply draw another curve right here and I use the connect option by pressing on this line and this line, a spline will be created, as we can see. Again, there are two options which are open right here, so I can again use this command by clicking here and on the 2 points which are actually open, and a spline is created. As we can see on our screens, that a spline is created, and we can use different options which are open, and we can create a spline using these options. Our next option is an ellipse. An ellipse, as we all know, is a type of circle actually, which does not have its diameters equal. So here we can see it has a major diameter and a minor diameter. We simply have to name the major radius and the minor radius, and an ellipse will be created. However, we have learned the use of ellipse while drawing in our engineering days. So we will be knowing how important an ellipse plays. One such important aspect will be that the piston rings and the piston head, which are actually used in engines, are actually elliptical in shape. So it's important that we learn the use of this tool as well. that might look circular, but actually they are elliptical. They don't have their two perpendicular diameters of equal length. So we will now just press on the origin, and then we can see we can just simply move, and we can simply name as well. And here it is. We create an ellipse. After which we simply have to name the eccentricity as well. Eccentricity is another important point that we will be knowing. Eccentricity while we create an ellipse. Here, after using the ellipse command, I urge everyone once again to practice these commands, as it will be helpful for you to practice and to develop your skills in these commands as well. Our next few options aren't actually used frequently, so we will just avoid that, skip those pattern, and we will move on to our next options. That is, first of all, it is a line. Now, a line is a simple line. You can just simply click on the line. If I double click on that option, I can actually draw a series of lines. However, here it is. I simply don't have to go back and I have to click again and again. It actually can be done for anything, any different command as well. If I double click it, I can just see created a series of lines as well. So this is the line command. You can give the length as well. If you give a length, say for example 30 mm, and then click enter, it will always create a line of 30 mm, no matter how it is. Okay, so this is how we will be using the line command. Line to draw a triangle, to draw a rectangle, we need a line, so this command will be used frequently as well. Next option is an infinite line. So infinite line itself tells us the story that it is an infinite line which doesn't have a limit. That is, it doesn't have a starting point, it doesn't have an ending point. So this is an infinite line. You can just simply click on an infinite line, and an infinite line will be created. It doesn't have a limit. So I will now just click on delete. It isn't used really frequently, but it is an important command. Now this is an important option. This is a bitangent line. Now to use this option, you actually need two curves, two circular curves. So let's, for example, have a circle down here, and let's have another circle of different diameters which are placed here. Now if I want to create a tangent between these two circles, I can actually use this command, that is the use of bitangent line. Now I just simply have to click on circle number 1, and then I have to click on circle number 2, and as we all know, there can be only one tangent that could pass through in one particular side, that is on the symmetry of a circle. This is the tangent that is created by default. We simply don't have to measure it, because the software itself by default creates one. If I click on the bottom side of the circle, remember, this is how it is created. Now we have seen a tangent being created. There can be a cross tangent as well, as we can see. This is similar to an open belt drive. If we want to create a cross belt drive, I can just simply show you as well. There it goes. And then if I click on the bottom side of one of the circles and on the upper side of the other circle, here we can see a cross tangent is also created. So this command is really going to be helpful for us at times when we want to actually draw semicircles, which will be really interesting tool as well while we use it. Our next option is the bisecting lines. The bisecting lines for which we actually need, I will just simply first of all delete our previous options. Okay, here it is. And once we click on the delete option, here it is, the bitangent line. So we simply need first of all a series of lines to have it on a curve as well. So I will now use a bitangent line option for which we will need another line as well. So this creates a tangent between. So this is how a bitangent line is actually created. It actually creates a tangency between two curves that are present, as we can see. It just bisects the two lines, as we can see, because it is of great immense that it creates a symmetry point as well at times. So our next option is also a line normal that is perpendicular to a curve. It is really simple as well. We simply need a curve, and here it is, and then if I select the point, here you can see a line will be created. It will be always perpendicular, as we can see, it is always going to be perpendicular to the curve. So this is how we are going to use this line. It will always be creating perpendicular lines. You can frequently use this commands to create various geometries as well. In next video we will learn the use of the axis, the points, and which are the points that could be helpful for us while we create different geometries. And also we are not too far away from creating our first profile as well. We will be creating a pentagon in our future videos once we learn all these commands, and we will also have a focus on the constraints in our coming videos. Thanks for joining, and do join us again next time as well. Thank you and a goodbye.